Hello, everyone from sunny Spokane, Washington, and thank you for your patience. I say I'm running a few minutes late. We had some technical difficulties here this morning, but I'm super excited to be with you this morning on this beautiful summer day. And I'm super excited because I have some really awesome tools to share with you. Now, obviously, Clover has tons of amazing tools, but there are a few tools that we thought you may not have seen yet. So if you want to say hello, of course, go ahead and chime in our chat window. I know that Natalie should be watching on our YouTube channel, and she's going to be helping me too with any questions you might have. But the focus of today's live is to introduce you to our new Grip Fit line. So the Grip Fit tools are some of your favorite tools and some new tools, but all of them have been specially ergonomically designed to fit beautifully into your hands. So they're super comfortable to use and they're just amazing. So I'm going to start off with a couple of new ones to start with because there's something that, might be a little bit more interesting to you. Okay, so I will quit tormenting you with a lot of lead in and let's get to the tools. So I'm going to actually start out with, this is the 3-in-1 tracing tool. Now, again, remember, this is our new line of Grip Fit tools. Oh, my brain sometimes. So this is our new Grip Fit tools. This is called the 3-in-1. And you may be thinking, well, wait a minute. I only see 2 tools here, right? Only 2 tools. Well, just watch and see because I'm going to focus in here. But you see how the handle here, it unscrews. And it's just a friction fit. There's your third wheel. So, sometimes being a third wheel is a good thing, right? Nobody wants to be the third wheel, but here you go. It's actually a good thing. So the tool has openings in the front for two different heads. And of course, when it comes to tracing, we have 3 different types of tracing heads that we like to use. So when we're tracing on fabrics and things, using our awesome, of course, Clover tracing paper, the good old chocolate. This is great stuff. It's not all waxy. I love this stuff. So anyhow, so we have smooth, we have blunt serrated, and then we have the sharper serrated. So you don't have to make a choice between which one you want to use. You can have all 3 all in one handy tool that's designed to fit in your hand comfortably, no matter how you want to hold it. Okay, so let's say, for example, I put the spiky one in the handy holder here in the base. And maybe I want to just keep this loaded with the 2 I use most, which would be the blunt and the smooth. So depending on what kind of tracing you want to do. So let's just take a little piece of fabric here. All right, so here I have, so of course I can use my smooth, and then you can just flip it right around your hand to go to your blunt tracing. And there you have it. Pretty simple. I mean, obviously, tracing wheel, you might be thinking, well, what's so new about a tracing wheel? They've been around for a very long time. Yes, they have. But they've never been all in one tool like this, which is what's really, really exciting about the Grip Fit 3-in-1 tracing tool. That, and it just, compared to my other tracers, this is so much more comfortable. Not only do I not have to dig in my drawer I have a whole drawer full of marking tools, and so I don't have to go dig in my drawer to find the head that I want. I can actually just go ahead and it's all in one place. That's a super plus on my side of things. Now, here's another thing that's kind of cool is that actually, if you needed to do a couple lines, so I think these are about, I think they're about an inch apart. But at any rate, you can actually turn them sideways too. So if that happens to be for some reason more functional for you, you can do that also. So very versatile, very comfortable to use. All right, so that's the Grip Fit 3-in-1 triple tracing wheel. Pretty awesome. Okay, so the next new Grip Fit tool, this is one I actually just received the other day. I'm going to be filming a tool school episode on this. And this is actually a grip fit. So again, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, see all the beautiful shape to this handle. So it's all designed to fit beautifully ergonomically in your hand, in the palm of your hand. So comfortable, which is really important. You know, these awls are this one is fairly sharp. So you might be thinking, well, what would you use an awl for? Well, one cool thing about this one is it has this wonderful tip on it. So it also doubles as a hair marker. All right, so you might be using a hair marker along with a ruler to create a fold, for example. And so now this is not as rigid as, you know, your standard hair marker. So this is more of a standard hair marker. It's a little stiffer, but the other one will work, the little spatula. So by the way, hera means basically spatula in Japanese. So hera refers to the shape of it. It's based on a kimono tool. So using a hair marker tip like this creates a line that you can use for marking, or it also helps for folding. So now when you go to press this, you can use your awl to hold that little fold without getting your fingers involved, right? So the fingers don't have to get in there. You don't have to worry about burning them. A lot of people, we also use awls a great deal when it comes to working on the machine. And when we're stitching on the machine, if we have to stitch very closely, you know, especially in quilting, when we're working with tiny little 1/4-inch seams, or you might have a corner that you need to stitch, having an awl is just amazing to be able to hold things in place out of the way of the foot and be able to just go ahead and get going and not have to worry about, again, getting your finger. You can't get your finger in there, but you can get an awl in there and hold things together while you're stitching. So awls are just a great tool. But again, they tend to be pretty sharp. So we have to make sure that we cover up the end so that we don't get poked. And so having a tool on the end, what a great idea, right? I don't think I know of another tool. I mean, I have other awls that were made by other people, but number one, they don't have this wonderful grip fit that fits so nicely, you know, in the palm of the hand. And again, doesn't matter left or right. It's all good. It's all the same. And so anyhow, but having a functional tool on the end of it, it just makes it that much more handy. So again, super comfortable, super useful. That's pretty much the theme for these wonderful new grip fit tools. And again, I wanted to focus on these today because I wasn't sure if you've had a chance to see them. You know, some of these tools are really new, and so they're really only available through the Clover website. So you want to go to clover-usa.com, and that's where you can find these wonderful tools to make them your own, is through clover-usa.com. And they're pretty darn wonderful. Okay, alrighty. Now the last tool I'm going to show you isn't really new other than its grip fit. So, okay, this isn't new. You might say, well, that's not new. No, this is the wonderful Clover seam ripper. And believe it or not, this is the most popular tool in Clover's toolbox. So all of those amazing tools that we have, right? This is the number one seller because this is the most sharp, fabulous seam ripper. And okay, I know it sounds crazy to get all excited about a seam ripper, but if you sew, you know what I mean, right? Inevitably, everyone, I don't care how good you are, inevitably, we all have to rip something out sometime, right? So having a good seam ripper is totally priceless. Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, ta-da, there's a grip fit version. So this is that same amazing, super sharp, really fine point that we have on our best-selling tool. But look at this beautiful design, right? So again, just fits right into your hand. You can put your finger on top if you want. However you're used to holding it, believe me, this sucker is comfortable in every position. It is just awesome. And I mean, thankfully it comes with a little cover on it to help keep you from stabbing yourself when you're digging around in your drawer. Maybe I'm the only person that's always digging around their drawer looking for things, but at any rate, the cover is a really good idea for people like me. So with this seam ripper, so it doesn't really matter. I better put my reading glasses on or I won't be able to do anything. So with this seam ripper, whether of course you're, some people are pickers, they're going to come in here, they're going to pick, every thread or every other thread or however many threads. And, that's how they like to do their seam ripping. Other people, of course, like to get in here and just run up the seam. So, and just zipper right open, right? So the beautiful thing is it's so nice and sharp that whichever way you prefer to rip your seams, you're good to go, right? But then when you're done ripping your seams, the problem is you always end up with little bits and pieces, right? I mean, of course, I go to do a demo and it comes out really clean, but usually you've got a lot of whiskers going on. Well, check this out. So this is, besides the fact that it's super sharp and comfortable, do you see this end on it? This is like a silicone grippy end. So guess what this is for? This is for magically getting in here and brushing away any of those little whiskers that are sticking out. And it just does an amazing job. So you can just get in there and all those little whiskers that are on your seam there, you just go in there and they will come right out just like magic. Okay, totally magical. Now, this has been already, even though it's brand spanking new, I will say this has been extremely popular. I think when I looked at inventory this morning, it was already fairly low. So hopefully there's still some more there for you to pick up. Otherwise, get on the wait list or, keep your eye out and get them when they come back in, because I know that they're pretty much having to ship this in regularly because this is such an amazing tool and everybody is just loving it. All right, so this is the new Grip Fit Clover seam ripper. Again, it has the same point, the same tip or head, however you want to say that, as our best-selling. This is the best-selling Clover seam ripper, our number one tool in the whole toolbox. But we've taken that same head, put it onto a beautiful ergonomic grip fit tool with the super awesome grippy silicone end on it for getting all those little whiskers right out of that seam allowance so that you can get back to, the fun stuff, which is creating and not ripping out seams, ripping out your stitching. So just to review, so that is the new Grip Fit Clover seam ripper. So just totally fabulous in every way. My new most favorite tool. I mean, I wouldn't say it's my most favorite to use because I'm never happy about ripping something out. But I will say that the actual functionality of it is pretty awesome. So at least it makes it slightly less painful. All right. And so going backwards, I also introduced the fabulous new Grip Fit All. So the Grip Fit All, again, designed to fit left or right, fit beautifully into the palm of your hand or however you want to hold it. It just really sits right in there. It's such a comfy tool and helps you to hold things while you stitch or hold things while you press without endangering your fingers. But speaking of endangering your fingers, of course, this all is relatively sharp. So we're super excited that it comes with this spatula tip. So a hair marker style tip on it that gives you some extra functionality for marking fabrics on top of the fact that it's protecting your other things like your fingers, hands, and stuff in that toolbox from getting poked. So very cool. And thirdly, the third grip fit tool I wanted to talk about today is the awesome 3-in-1 grip fit tracing wheel. And so again, if you missed the first part of this, this is our new tracing wheel. So what's pretty fabulous, you may be thinking, well, I only see 2 heads. Well, that's because the third one is in the base. So you have all 3. So all 3 types of tracing wheel heads. You have the blunt serrated, the sharp serrated, and smooth, all at your fingertips. And you can change these out however you wish. And then you store the third one in the base. So you don't have to worry about losing it. You just keep it right there in the tool. And you see with this tool, oops, I've already got a scratch on mine or something. You can tell I put my tools to use. They don't stay pristine for very long. So, but the way this is designed, it makes it very easy for you to just simply flip it around. If you're using one side and then you want to flip around and use the other type of head, you can do that just right there without even taking it out of your hand. It's super easy to use. Just comfortable, easy, great control. Having these wider, it's not just a matter of comfort in terms of, it's easy to grip, which makes it safer to use. But also when you start getting arthritis in some of your joints, it's nice having these wider handles. They just reduce a lot of strain, and it's so much easier to keep crafting, keep sewing without having to take a break and ice up. So really, really appreciate the functionality of all 3 of these. So that's the focus for today, is our wonderful new grip fit tools. And again, these are available through clover-usa.com online. And you can order those up for you, for your best friends, whomever. But I did want to show you real quick a couple of other tools that maybe you missed. So I know that, whoops, sorry. I meant to move my mat, but then I realized I need to move my camera. So there's a couple other tools I just wanted to share with you that you may have missed in case you wanted to add a new color to some of your tools in your toolbox. And that is, there's this limited edition of a couple of our favorite Clover tools that came out recently as well. So again, just in case you haven't seen these, wanted to bring them to your attention. Now, this is the point-to-point tool. As you can see, it's a beautiful lavender color. So this is, just a little bit of a variation on, say, our traditional Clover hair marker that's in white. So, but this is the point-to-point tool. So you can use this, not only can you use it as a hair marker, to do your markings, to make your folds with the hair marker, but this is great for turning square corners. So square corners and things are really great to use this pointed tip for turning those out. You also have a more pointed tip for your collars and things, or your smaller pointed items. You have this more of a kind of a stiletto, or not a stiletto, but more of a knife shape to it. These aren't terribly sharp, so they're great for turning corners. But I, I use mine a lot for as a hair marker. I love to use hair markers for marking because as much as I love, of course, your traditional marking tools of my using the Choco paper, the hair mark for some things, just to be able to put a ruler down and make a temporary mark without actually leaving any kind of color on the fabric can be really helpful. Or if I just need to make, make that half-inch fold, and then you can use the flat side of the hair marker to crease it, especially when you're working on cottons. So quilters, there's a lot of times when you can just do a quick finger press with your hair marker, and you don't have to keep running back and forth to your iron if you don't have one already set up at your table. So love this tool. And again, it's in our new pretty limited edition color. And then the last tool, this is the Clover. Of course, now that I'm of that age where words just go right out of my head sometimes. So this is an awesome tool, and it has the pointed end. It's a stiletto. And of course, like I said, the actual technical name is going to go right out of my head. So if Natalie wants to feels energized to type that into a chat, that would be awesome. But anyhow, this particular tool I use a lot. I use a lot on camera, because sometimes I work on a ranch. I live on a ranch, so as you can see, my hands tend to get kind of beat up sometimes. And so this is great for me just to point things out without having to get my hands on this in the set. But again, just like with the awl, this curved point is really wonderful for reaching in when you're stitching in a very tight area. When you're stitching in a small area, you can reach in with this and use that to be able to stitch more accurately, press more accurately. But speaking of pressing, now the other end, might as well use the lavender one. This is the same tool, just different color. This end is silicone. Okay, so this is a grippy silicone end. And not only does it grip things well, but again, it's heat resistant. So don't be burning your fingers when you can have these wonderful tools you can use to get in there and hold things while you press so that they don't endanger your fingers. All right, so this is generally keep one at my workstation, and I keep one at my ironing board because I like having that silicone tip there to help me to keep from doing more damage to my poor hands than they already have done. Alrighty, so that's our new grip fit tool line that I wanted to share with you today. They're really wonderful, and again, go to clover-usa.com to go ahead and grab some of those for yourself. I know that you're going to absolutely love them. I do, and that's why I said, can we just talk about the grip fit tools today? Because not everyone has seen those, they're so new. And I know that all of you will just really find them to be a wonderful addition to your toolbox. All right, so I'm Katrina Walker, Tool School instructor, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And this happens to be in the United States, a holiday week, so I hope you have a wonderful holiday as well. Take care.